Hi, this is Angela from Knit Luck, and this is my first video blog, which I'm hoping to do now that both of my kids are in preschool a couple mornings a week. So, in addition to my weekly written posts, I'm going to be doing a couple of video blog posts because I just think it creates a stronger connection between me and you, my audience, to know a little bit more about the person behind the writing. Also, I don't have a knitting group, and it makes me sad. So you are my default knitting group. So uh, let's just talk a little bit about knitting. I'm really happy today because my husband started a job. As you know, if you've been reading, he's been in and out of work for like the last year, and just we've had a lot of job changes since like 2012, mainly because of the nature of the video game industry. He's got a very good reputation, so he has no trouble getting hired. But it's just the nature of the industry has changed from like a salary place to more of like project oriented. So it's just been really unsteady. So we're super happy that it's all coming together now. And he's starting his first day at his dream job, which is just unbelievable and awesome, and really hoping for the best on this one. Wanted to talk today about the fall interweave knits because my mom gets it and she hands it off to me when she's done looking at it. And I was like kind of surprised that she gave me this issue. This is the issue in question. This is the fall interweave knits. You can see the beautiful, look at this gorgeous sweater. Anybody could wear this sweater. Like, I've got ginormous boobs and I could wear this sweater. Hopefully, I have to kind of try it out. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about buttons. Me and buttons, not always good friends. Depends on different things. But what I love is this collar with this kind of chevron type stitch definition here, and it goes all around the back, and you can button this up and have like a cowl cardigan, and then these adorable pockets and the ribbing at the bottom. And that this isn't a worsted weight, then it's just not good. It's not going to take me a year and a half to knit this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. And this isn't the only beautiful pattern in here. There's like 3 or 4 other gorgeous cabled sweaters, tweed oriented sweaters, and all sorts of crazy stuff. But the one I want to focus on today is this little puppy here on the front. Because I have some yarn. I have this beautiful Goddess Yarns, which is an old yarn company from ages ago. If you find some on eBay, grab it. Just grab it. It's a beautiful, high quality yarn. It's a travesty that the company had to fold. I understand that there was a divorce involved, and that's sad, and I feel bad for whoever owned that company because they made amazing yarns with excellent pattern support. And I'm really happy I have some in my stash. I have it in a beautiful plum color. Unfortunately, the stash is in storage, and at some point I'm going to have to go over there and get it because I am determined to knit this sweater. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is ridiculously beautiful. And I read the pattern instructions, and they're very clear, well organized. And I love how they do the pockets. Pockets can be tricky. If you don't do it right, you end up with lumpy, bumpy pockets, and then you're sad. And no one likes sad knitting. It's no, just no. So I forget, I don't know, what is this called? What is this called? Let's look. This is apparently the Red Fern cardigan by Ramona Gaynor. I'm not familiar with Ramona Gaynor, but she has excellent taste. Um, so I'm definitely liking all of that. There was another sweater in here. I mean, look at the back of this thing. Look at that. That's like Rhineback worthy right there. If I was on the East Coast, I sadly on the West Coast, our sheep festivals are just. If you were from the East Coast and you went to like our lamb town, you would be sad because when I think of sheep festival, I think cold, brisk weather in October, fog in the sky, the smell of cider. But when you go to Lambtown in California, it's freaking hot. Everybody's wearing cutoffs. The only, smell in the air is that of lamb cooking, which is in itself delicious, but it doesn't speak to me of fall. I'm originally a New Englander, and hot fall, it doesn't work for me. I need the briskness of October in New England. I haven't felt that in like 22 years, so it's I might be a bit sentimental about it. But I would definitely get this copy of Interweave Knits. I'm not being paid. This is not a promotion. This is truly, I'm picky about magazines. I don't buy every knitting magazine that comes out because they accumulate. They, except for the digital copies. Sometimes when Interweave has a sale, I'll buy a whole bunch of digital copies because, hey, why not? But this one has multiple very beautiful knittable. Like, look at this beautiful cabled cardigan. I have tweed. I have blue tweed. I'm going to have to knit this. I have like a total sweater quantity. Again, it's another project. Like, look, what I love about this is that on the edge of the sweater right there, you get like that upraised cable, and it just defines your body shape. And everyone likes a nice shoulder, you know. I don't care how big or tiny you are, but a nice, well-defined shoulder is very beautiful. And that's why I like this particular pattern. What one was this one called? Let's see. What is it? Wow, it's a long pattern, everybody, and it's the Roosevelt cardigan. You know, for those people up in the Hudson, you know, you could watch the new PBS drama Roosevelt's, the little, not the drama, the documentary, Ken Burns. You could watch that and knit the Roosevelt cardigan, and I totally would because I'm a dork. There's the Fiddlesticks cowl by Alice O'Reilly using Brooklyn tweed. Now that's not a tweed I've tried yet. I've heard kind of mixed things. It's a beautiful tweed, but it's a little scratchy. But secret, scratchy tweeds last longer because the softer ones, I have some of the beautiful soft ones. We won't mention names. They have cashmere in it, and it pills, and it's disappointing, but still worth it. Because when it kind of felts up a bit, it's still really very wearable. So I'm talking a lot. Oh, look at this too. Okay, this has been totally troll worthy for me, and it is from the Art of Seamless Knitting. It's an ad in the Interweave Knits. But look at this sweater. That's gorgeous. The V-neck on it, all the little different lace work. That could be some fun. That could be some fun. I'm not ready for it yet. Maybe in the spring. We'll see. But like I said, there's just so many. Okay, here's the main page. The two sweaters, the Roosevelt sweater, and then next to it there's another tweed sweater, which I might have to knit. I mean, it'll make me look like, you know, the bustiest cropped lady at Stitches this year, but why not? All right, so that is the Interweave Knits. Go and buy it. Just buy it. I know I'm not being sponsored here, though. If you would like to be a sponsor, Interweave Press, wink, wink. I would not say no. Because, man, you make beautiful things. Look, more beautiful. More beautiful. How can you say no? I should be working in a yarn shop because I will talk your ear off. I will smile at you and look at your beautiful knitting and make you feel great about it. Because knitting, that's what it's about. I get yarn store owners who treat their employees and customers like crap, man. No patience for it. No patience. We're not going to name names, but you know you exist. And it makes me sad because knitting, it brings joy. It changes people's lives. It did. It changed my life. Don't even joke with me about this. Knitting changed my life. I would not be the person I am right now without knitting. I met my husband because of knitting. I have jobs because I've knitted. Blogging because of knitting. So knitting, so much to thank you for. But anyway, two more beautiful patterns from Interweave. I mean, there's like 6 of them. This is a classic. I'm just going to call it right now. Interweave Knits Fall 2014 is a classic. If you don't buy it now, it will sell out, and then you'll be sad. And you'll just have the digital copy, blah, blah, blah. You need to get this. It's beautiful. I don't know why my mom gave it to me. I don't know why. She's kind of down on the knitting right now. She's a little sad on the knitting. We got to get her back on the knitting. Back on the knitting, folks. All right, so aside from Interweave Knits, I also want to talk about Eileen Fisher has made an entry into knitting pattern design, and it's no wonder because one of their technical editors at Eileen Fisher used to be a pattern designer for the Vogue knitting publication Knit One. And so it's really not a surprise that this new collaboration between Eileen Fisher and Vogue Knitting has come to pass. Vogue Knitting has a long time featured prominent fashion designers in some knitting patterns, especially in the fall. And this year is no exception, and it's really the reason you need to go buy the Vogue Knitting 2014 fall issue is because of the dolman sleeve pattern from Eileen Fisher. It's super chic. It's very on trend. It uses gorgeous cotton yarns. I highly recommend it for any of the people living in the South who love to knit. What's super awesome about the Eileen Fisher dolman sleeve pattern is that I live with my mother-in-law, who is an amazing lady. I love her so much. She's the best mother-in-law you can have. I mean, that isn't to say that we don't ever clash but she inspires me every day. She's super fashionable. And she, in fact, had an Eileen Fisher Dolman sleeve sweater. Not exactly the same as the pattern, but very similar. And it was awesome to get to look at it and look at the construction and see just how much of that design was truly an Eileen Fisher design. And knowing that these sweaters run over $100 and knowing that cotton is not an expensive yarn to buy, that it was kind of awesome to be able to knit an Eileen Fisher sweater for under $50. Like, that's pretty awesome to be able to do that. So and also realizing I have that kind of yarn in my stash, I've been super determined to knit it. So but unfortunately, I've been swatching. I'm not getting the exact gauge. You know that feeling, the sad gauge feeling. This is sad gauge face. But so I'm still swatching. I'm kind of deciding, because I mean, I'm worried. Look at this. I've got, I'm a bit busty. Dolman sleeves and busty don't always get along. They don't. And so I'm like, I'm a little worried that if I knit this thing and it looks horrible on me, I'm going to be sad. But that's where my mother-in-law comes in, because if I knit it and she likes it, although the color is not her at all. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it to someone else. I don't know. But I still feel the need to knit it because I think it's good to support Eileen Fisher as a new kind of image in knitting pattern design, because I think that her shapes are super modern, and just we have like a plethora, a saturation of knitting patterns in the market, and I would like to see much more in the minimalist genre of knitting, if that's possible. While we're talking about fall knitting magazines, I'd also love to mention the new Knitty Deep Fall came out last week. If you would know, if you tried to get on Knitty, it would break down. But if you are determined, like myself, you go to Ravelry, and they've already posted all of the patterns on there, so you can get a sneak peek before you actually get to the Knitty website. And I found a couple that God, I need to have more arms, because I would like to knit all of these patterns, and I just can't. I can't do it all. I got 2 kids. You can't have it all, everybody. You just can't. Sorry. Newsflash for you. But Knitty has some amazing patterns that I still want to. I want to try to knit. The Hugga, which is like a modified sweater shrug with little thumb holes, I believe. And it's got a beautiful lace pattern up the edge. And as I mentioned before, I love the shoulder definition stuff, like the stuff that accents your shoulders, because it looks good on everybody. So Hugga is one, Nissa is another pattern, and also Twist Again. So, and those are free patterns, which are glorious. It's a beautiful thing that Knitty exists, which is why when you go to Knitty, you need to look at all the ads and click on them and patronize those people, because, those ads allow you to have free knitting patterns. And I know that a lot of people don't like ads. They turn off ad block, and that's fine. But you're really missing out on some amazing content from possibly new yarn companies and new accessories. So I truly believe in supporting your knitting bloggers and your knitting magazines, because these are hardworking people. So that's it really for me for this week. I'm going to I'm working on the textured shawl, which is from last year's knitwear, which is now called Knit Pearl, if you're not in the know. My husband bought me this magazine for my wedding anniversary last year, and that was the sweetest thing. And I found this pattern. It's a semicircle shawl with alternating sections of stockinette and garter stitch, and it creates this beautiful ripple effect, like a pond, like it's throwing a stone in a pond. And you get to wrap it around your neck. And I'll show it to you maybe next week. Maybe it'll be done. Wouldn't that be nice? Finished object on the next video blog. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining me on my first video blog. I hope that you guys continue to join me. Send me an email at angela@knitlock.com. I'm looking for guests. I live in the Bay Area. Are you a knitting blogger? Are you a yarn shop owner? Come and talk to me one week. I will give you free promotion. We will just talk about knitting, because that's what I love. It makes me who I am. Knitting, it is not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. It connects you to yourself and to other people. I believe in it, and I love it. And I hope you continue to join me for just a little sit down, talk about knitting. You can respond to my knitting vlog with your own knitting vlog. I really encourage you to share your favorite knitting patterns from the fall 2014 magazines. And if you do, post in the comments and link to it, and I'll try to update the video blog post with those responses. And we can really start a conversation here. That would make me super happy because I want to make new friends. That would be great. I don't have a knitting group. You're my knitting group. Be my knitting group. So I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. This is Angela from Knitlock signing off.